How you doing, everybody? Welcome to another week of the Bentley Portrait Show here on channel 19. Today I'm going to do, or give you some tips rather, on ideas as far as how to do an eye, kind of how noses are shaped and kind of how to draw them. Just kind of a little bit about facial structure. This is an interesting book. I got this. Hope you can see that. Got this from Dury's Art Supply Store, and it kind of helps you with facial proportions and things of that nature. If you're interested in getting something like that. So, as I always say, it's good to get books on whatever it is that you're interested in drawing. But again, my name is Kevin Bentley. You're looking at the Bentley Portrait Show here on channel 19, and as always, you can visit my website, which is BentleyPortraits.com, if you have any questions or anything like that. And without further ado, we will get started. Alright, now something I want to kind of show from this book here, which is kind of interesting, is with this particular pencil drawing here, the drawing here shows you that the let me kind of zoom in here. Alright, shows you that the center line, right, then right, a center line is probably about here going horizontally, but the eyes are a little bit above center line. And if you notice here on the corners of each nose there lines up directly with the corners of the eyes. And you also notice that the corners of the mouth will line up almost directly with the pupil, I forget what you call it, the black part of the eye there. And that's pretty much on every person. Now, everybody's face may be different as far as bone structure under the skin, as far as cheekbones. Some may have a little more protruding cheekbone here or out toward that direction, or may have jaw may be more square or more rounder. But generally these spots here, the corner of the nose is always going to line up with the eye corner, and the corner of the mouth generally is going to line up under center of the eye there. Now, and the width, as far as the space between the eye, is generally an eye length apart there. In this sketch, what he did was he did the circle. This is the skull here, and then the hair is overlaid over the top. And so generally when you're doing a face, those are some of the kind of principles that you can follow. And as you can see from the drawing here, it looks pretty much one-dimensional. And when you look at the pencil sketch here, which is very good pencil rendering, you can see here that what he did was the light source is here and the dark area be this side here. So everything is falling, as far as shadow wise, is falling to the right. You have the kind of the tip corner of her nose there, the light's hitting here, and the shadow cast is falling on that side there. What I like about it is the depth of shadow here in the eye part there, which actually kind of brings depth to the ball of the eye there under the hood of the skin there. So it's highlighted there, but darker there. And right here, see if it shows up there. Here, there's no shadowing, which makes it look very one-dimensional. Now I could draw on this. And see how it already kind of starts taking a little form there. Darken that in there. But anyway, you kind of see what I mean there. Doesn't start to look so one-dimensional. Another interesting thing he did here with the pencil drawing here. Let's zoom in on the eyes here. We're gonna kind of pick this apart some here. All right, now notice the eyes here. There's shadowing under this eyelid. The shadowing, when the light hits, it falls under the eyelid and it casts a shadow down onto the eye. So there's a bit of shadowing there. He didn't leave it just white all the way up to the eyelid there. And so that keeps an eye from looking like a fish eye. Is to have shadowing under there. And he did this eye as well. And that's one of the key things when you're doing a portrait of an eye is make sure you kind of look at the eye and get everything shaped as best you can and put shadowing under the eye. And what that does is, again, it keeps the eye from looking like a fish eye, and it kind of makes it more three-dimensional. It makes it look more realistic. Like the little highlight here in the eye. If you hadn't put that, it would have looked kind of dull. So that highlight there gives it a bit of wetness and like it's probably reflecting some light there. So that's important to do. Shadowing is everything. Now let's move into the mouth here. Again with shadowing, generally the top lip is darker than the bottom lip because as light hits it, this is protruding out and it casts a shadow under the top lip. Now if you say if there was a light that was shining up, say someone had a flashlight and it was shining up on her face, this top lip will be lighter and the bottom lip will be darker because the shadow, the highlight would hit the top lip and the shadow would cast on the bottom lip. That's if a light was shining under her, flashing up on her face. So those are kind of the important things of I guess doing portraiture. You always want to know where your light source is. Now what was done here was he used a graphite pencil, and then in these areas here, let me pull this out a little bit. And these areas here, here, there, and there, he probably went with a eraser and pulled out some of the pencil to give it a highlight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an eye, just so you can kind of get an idea as far as seeing it being done in real life. And hopefully that help y'all some, because there's been a lot of people that say they have problems with eyes and things of that nature. So that's what I'm gonna do now, is do an eye. Alright. To do an eye, the eye is kind of shaped like a football, somewhat. Right there. Oh, that's there. Alright. It kind of looks like an eye. And looking at that eye, it kind of looks like a fish eye, so to speak. But this is where shadowing comes in. What I was telling you about shading under the eyelid. So let's say we darken that in there. Put a little shading. See, that's that bottom eyelid there. They put a little shading there. A little shading there. And pull it down some. From there. Now what I do is leave that kind of as a highlight, I guess, for the eye, and that's a light reflection. Now let's add a bit of eyebrow there. Just a little bit of shadowing here. And that makes all the difference in the world. Now what you don't want to do is you don't want to draw each individual eyelash. You probably do a little few, but you just kind of want to give it a hint of an eyelash. And some people probably see me do this eye thing a million times, probably. And you're probably right. But it never hurts to kind of reiterate it. Because when you're doing an eye, it's very important that you kind of know these kind of basic principles. Another good thing to kind of learn about is whether you're using a graphite pencil or whether you use a pastel, is pressure. You can go very dark and gradually go lighter. It's different ways of shading. Some people, this is kind of how I do it, is I gradually go dark and light as far as shading. Some people do cross hatches like that to shade. So say if they're doing a say if you got a box, like that there, some people shade like that. But me, again, I go like that and gradually fade out. Now when it comes to going a little closer here. When it comes to shading, and if you're doing a face and everything, you want to kind of always imagine, say if you got a ball, right? Maybe back this out a little bit. If you have a ball, and say you have a light source, and the light is coming that direction, where would the shadow fall? Would it fall here or would it fall there? Well, naturally it's going to fall here. And so you'll have shadowing on this side of the ball. And so that same principle applies with a face. This was a face, and the light was coming here. The shadow would fall on the opposite side. So as I'm looking at it, to my right. And so when you're doing a face or something like that, that's where the shadow is going to fall, opposite side of wherever your light source is. Now there are certain contours. There are certain contours of the face that are always going to have shadowing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you from this book here. As far as shadowing, there are certain shadows that are on every person's face due to the bone structure. Let me go more light here. Due to the bone structure that's common to everybody. And that's just a man's here face sculpting of a face, so it's gonna be a little more rigid than say if it's a woman, it'd be a little more softer. But there's always gonna be shadowing and indentation as far as the eyes are, so you always have shadow there along the cheekbone there. And see here, top lip is shadowed, bottom lip is highlighted. There's a shadowing under the bottom lip And if you're looking at this, where is the light source coming from on this one? If you look over here, the light source is coming here. This is the more shaded area. So here, this is a little more darker shaded than say this side there. Now if it was a light shining directly into the center of the face, this would be lighter than the outer edges would be darker depending on how much light. Look at the camera here. Make sure I'm catching everything here. I'm using my camcorder here. Here you can see from a side view the indentation of where the eye is, the bone area here, cheekbone, and then once you sketch it out, this cheek there, the shading, and then the eye there. Again, this is kind of stuff to kind of help you out, kind of basic stuff. It's a little, maybe a little advanced, because it's not easy on starting out. And even me, I'm still, I know this stuff, but practice never. Always need practice. And as I said earlier, on a woman's face, things are a little more softer. And as I said, on women, things are a little more softer as far as edges and lines and things like that. But I hope this kind of helps you out some. You get a chance, be sure and get you books and things like that, and it'll kind of help you out there as far as learning proportions and shadings and things like that. But I hope you enjoyed the show for this week. This one's a little different than what I normally do, because normally it's me sitting doing a portrait of something or drawing something. But this is just kind of showing you just basics of how things are kind of done as far as doing a face. I don't repeat myself, but again, I hope you learned something. Again, this drawing here was more than likely done with a graphite pencil, and he probably went in, shaded under the neck here, around the mouth, around the eye, and he may have kind of shaded the whole picture, and then went with an eraser and erased the highlight there along the nose, over the eyelid, there, and then he probably hit these, and that's how it was put together. But again, you're watching the Bentley Portrait Show, and that's about it for this week. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the show for this week. Again, it's a little different than what I normally do. Again, this book is from Walter Foster. I'm not sure if it's the Walter Foster Company or not, but it says by Andrew Loomis. But it's a good book as far as helping you to understand construction of the head, form, and learning proportions. As you look at it, the drawings are kind of old, because it's the hairstyle and everything is probably from the 50s and 60s. But it gives you a general idea as far as capturing light and shadow and all that. And you can probably get it online at eBay or something like that, or maybe at your local art store. Just go in the book section or a library or something like that, and you'll probably be able to find it. But there are a whole lot of different books on that type of stuff. So keep practicing, and you'll get better. I'm by no means the best in the world. I'm still learning myself. And that's about it. And again, my name is Kevin Bentley. You're looking at the Kevin Bentley Portrait Show here on Channel 19. My website is BentleyPortraits.com. So if you have any questions or anything or any comments, feel free to contact me, and I'll be glad to get back in contact with you or just hearing from you. But again, take care, and we'll see you next week.